Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, Craigness. Welcome,
Oh shit!
everyone.
Actually, I was gonna ask, did you guys want me to record locally?
Nah, you're good. Craig's got it.
Sorry.
Craig can handle it.
Hold on.
Craig can take a wide load.
Okay. Okay, so I don't need to. So I don't need to record my own stem or anything like that. This is going to be a clean recording.
Yeah, pretty much. Craig's just gonna.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Craig just does his thing. He sits there like a little,
nice.
just looking at us with those unseeing eyes.
Yeah, I this is the first time seeing Craig, so this is a bit of a surreal moment to me. I hear about this fabled Craig, and I'm very honored to be finally acquainted
Well, now
with
you've
him.
seen him in all his majesty.
Yeah, that is
That is a
stare of a
1,000-yard stare.
That's the one I was thinking about. It's like, do you remember Nelly the calm owl?
Is that the one I was like, look how calm she is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just needs the
it's
pupils
brilliant.
dilated all the way.
Yeah.
Everybody, welcome our latest guest to Total Bear Blake.
Woo!
Hello, everyone. How we all doing? Thank you. This is actually, honestly, I'm going to say this is quite an honor because I've been a big fan of this podcast. I was so upset when you guys went on hiatus for about, what was it, like 6 months or something? I was like, oh, come on, where's the next Ejected Bear time? I need my fix. You were talking about animals, and then it just went.
Yeah, the animals killed us.
Bitey creatures.
Usually do.
Yeah,
Yes.
creatures.
You even sang the "Scared Weird Little Guys"
Yes.
song.
See, Ma, someone does listen.
We've got a Total Bear Loney super fan.
Oh yes. Although I will say I do have a little bit guilty thing to it. I haven't listened to the latest episode. Well, the one before this in its entirety. I got about halfway through. I think what you guys were talking about. You just mentioned about that. What is it? Tongdo. The Fantasia special.
Oh,
coaster,
Tongdo Fantasia. Yeah.
Yeah, Tongdo. Yeah, and it had the only triple corkscrew from Arrow.
Yes.
Which I was not aware about. I was just like, holy crap. It just looking at the picture of it, it's just so bizarre. Just looking at that coaster, it's just like
it looks
something straight out of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, it's the color scheme as well. It's so like bizarre. It really does look like it's just a Roller Coaster Tycoon creation.
And because of the fact that it has 3 distinct color schemes, it's like initially I saw the picture, like the main picture on RCDB, and I thought, oh, are they 3 separate coasters? But no, it's just the one.
It's just this one big coaster with this bizarre color scheme and this bizarre mix of elements.
And it starts off with the corkscrews. The corkscrews aren't last like they typically are in most Arrow loopers. You do the corkscrew first, and then you do the vertical loops, which is interesting.
It's a weird one. Tragically, I think we've seen it give its last ride.
Yeah, it's been SBNO since it got COVIDized, essentially.
Yeah, one of the many victims of the Rona.
The spicy cough.
Oh. Blake,
yes,
in case, our sort of Venn diagram of demographics don't cross over, would you explain to our dear listeners where they may have heard your dulcet tones before?
Well, initially I got my start. I was a frequent collaborator with a good friend of mine, Ash. We had many projects together over the years, but I would probably say the most prolific one that we had was a podcast slash live web show called ParkChat. Now that has been on indefinite hiatus for oh god, nearly 2 years now. I think a year and a half, something like that. We also had Matt from MIDI Theme Parks on there as well for a good while. But yeah, we all still talk to each other. We're all still mates. And then more recently, I was attending weekly live streams with Riley from That's So Mid. But before he went on his American / Europe adventure this year, and unfortunately, he hasn't resumed the doing the live streams. He's been I'm sure when you've spoken to him, you know he is a very, very, very busy man, and
How he does it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried that man is going to burn himself out. Actually, I was just messaging him today and I was just asking him how he was going. He's just like, yeah, I'm just working, and then I come home, and then I edit, and then if I can, I play golf on the Sunday, rinse and repeat. And I'm just like, bro,
And
you gotta give you some time. You gotta give some R&R for yourself,
it's crazy.
mate. Like,
I don't know how he manages it. I'm only just getting back into
that man is
editing daily, and I spend like maximum of a few hours a day, and that's on like my days off, where I'll sit down for 3 hours and edit something.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. If I try and edit anything that, because I have my generally a 3-week buffer period between episodes. If I try and go faster than that, I go insane. Because it's just too much on top of work.
Honestly, that was kind of a thing, like, one of the reasons why when we were doing the podcast iteration of ParkChat, one of the main reasons why it took a fair amount of time for each episode to come out was because I did the polar opposite of what you guys do with your podcast, and where you just click record and you just go for broke. I would meticulously edit the absolute living crap out of those recordings, just to get rid of any ums, ahs, long pauses, any of that kind of stuff. But you guys, you just like, fuck that.
Yeah. We will keep an awkward pause in there for,
I think that's part of
the
the
lulz,
reason
for the
that. I'm a little bit like you when it comes to my actual videos. Like, to me, my videos are like video essays mostly in style. So I'm like, I want everything to be like structured and neat and everything like that. But Total Baloney to me is my little fun side project where once a week I get to sit down and just talk shit.
Yeah, shoot the shit, basically. Actually, you speak. Actually, that was one thing I wanted to ask you before we started recording. But you're like, no, wait, just wait until we start recording. I just wanted. Now I know you. This is a very relaxed kind of podcast. You're pretty. You're not very strict on particular like language. Like, you find
Fuck no.
Yeah, you find dropping F-bombs. I haven't heard anyone drop a C-bomb though yet. So like.
Well,
I do love a good cunty C-bomb.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. First C-bomb of the series.
I was about to say we were saving up for the first one. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the first C-bomb of Total Baloney.
Look, I'm born and raised Gold Coast, like Queensland, born and bred. It's just going to come out of me naturally. So just brace yourselves.
Yeah.
Listener discretion is advised.
Just mark all of the episodes as explicit, because I'm like, I don't remember if we swore, but we probably did.
Oh, chances are we did.
I think every single episode you at least said fuck or shit or something like that.
Yeah. It probably just comes out at some point.
Yeah. So what's been happening? Like, have you guys had any theme parkery adventures of late?
Well, I'm in a nice relaxed position where I've got a year's worth of content under my belt, so I can just chill for a good hot minute.
You can rest on your laurels.
However, A little bit. However, this last week has led to some recent developments, which we won't go into too much detail because it veers into the political. But yeah, it's a hell of a week to be releasing Disney-related content. Let's just say that.
Oh, we're talking about a certain late night presenter getting
Yep.
cancelled. Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, we won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. It's very bad. It's not good. He's not funny.
I can understand the desire not to want to release something Disney related at this particular point in time. Do you have?
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you have? Could you skip and come back to the Disney parks?
Well, it would just make it really out of order, like as far as just the geographical jumping around of
Just
places.
do it, George Lucas, mate. He did it all the time.
Episode 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
And we'll chuck Clone Wars in there.
Rogue One.
Because yeah, the next 2 episodes were both Disney parks, so it's just like,
Yeah, I don't know what I would do with that. Honestly, I would probably just release it and be like, it's apolitical. But
well, could you
yeah,
make the just?
but then again, I get on my high horse politically about a certain property when we go to Universal. So,
well, could you make the justification that the Disney parks in Japan are not actually run by the Disney Corporation? They're run by the Oriental Land Company.
I forgot about that.
this is true.
Mm-hmm.
You make a very good point.
Yeah, so if anyone attacks you in the comments about that, just say, "Hey, look, yeah, they're using the Disney license, but it's Oriental Land Company." You which honestly, in today's politically correct climate, I'm amazed that they haven't gone through a rebranding.
Yeah, bit of nomenclature there.
So, what about yourself, Jake? Have you managed to? I don't. Well, I know you've only just recently recovered, but from having a
Yes.
spicy heart.
The good old spicy heart.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm planning a trip up to the Gold Coast because I was supposed to. My plan was to go up and get some Movie World and Dream World footage a couple of weeks ago, but obviously at the time I was unwell, so I've delayed that off to probably mid-October, and I'll go up and do a day at Movie World, maybe Fright Nights if I can time it right, and a day at Dream World. And then, of course, I'm preparing for China trip in how many days now? Where's my countdown? Where is my countdown? 39 days. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, is
exactly.
it that soon? Jeez.
So just a little over a month. Hey, but you don't have to stress too much about filming though. Remember, I just sent like 60 gigs worth of videos.
You've sent me like 60 gigabytes worth of Dreamworld footage. I'm not going to be able to use it all. I've got footage
Yes,
out the wazoo.
you definitely do. Like, to be fair, there's probably a bit of repeat footage there. Yeah.
That's what we love.
Honestly, I'll go tell you, because I was just there yesterday filming, and it was an absolute cracker of the day. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. Like, I don't know if you've watched any of the footage yet, but it was beautiful weather to be filming. And honestly, it's kind of lit a fire up under my ass to kind of get on to creating my own content again. Absolutely. Yeah, like honestly, to be honest, outside of doing the live streams with Riley, which is just a ton of fun, that is the most fun that I've had, like, on the Gold Coast theme parks in a long time. And the only thing that I did outside of filming was I rode the train, because the train's a full circuit now. Woo!
Yay!
So that happened very quickly. They got that done quite.
Oh, well, it was originally slated to be done for the Easter holidays, my understanding. But if you listen back to, I think it was the last episode of Dane's Theme Park Life, the second time they spoke to Greg Yong, Greg was explaining that they found that before they could lay the railway track down, there was a whole bunch of infrastructure that they had to relay, like electrical, plumbing, gas.
Right.
Yeah, just because the change in hats, like management hats over the years, that it was just like band-aid patch here, band-aid patch there, and they just went, nah, fuck this, we're doing it all over again. We're starting from scratch, and then they had to do all that, and then once that was done, then they could lay the train track down. And then I can only imagine that, like, in the first, I don't know what it's been like in New South Wales, but basically for the first half of this year, like, it did nothing but rain the entire, like, from January all the way through to June, which is unheard of. It was just like every single day it just rained, and it's only been like these past couple of months where it's really cleared up.
We did have a long period like that. My backyard is
Mm.
it's only just dried out enough for the grass to come back, and it's all weeds. It's 100% weeds because it's just like all of the grass died because it
Rip.
got like flooded, and
Yep.
then all that grew back was like gross, awful weeds and stuff. So we've got a bit of maintenance work to do.
And the fact that you had snow out where you were probably didn't help either.
Yeah, and a lot of it too.
Not just snow, but you got snowed in, didn't you?
Yeah, and a whole bunch of the infrastructure in town was like damaged and stuff like that because it was so much snow.
Oh, by the way, I hope that's not giving too much away. Like, I'm understanding that you guys don't want to be doxxed or anything. Like,
I think it's known where I live.
Yeah, I think I give a general impression as to whereabouts, not exactly the building and apartment number, but just the general vicinity of where I live from my videos.
My
Fair
address
enough.
is.
Could you please take your BSB and account number, please?
Social security number,
IP
tax
address,
file
Yeah,
number.
it's
the 3 digits on the back of your credit card.
Yeah, the CVC.
Uh,
Actually, you know what? That actually happened to me for the first time. It was last month. Someone actually managed to get my credit card details somehow, and they spent like
Oh,
$1,800. I got the money back, but the most annoying thing about it was that I had to cancel my credit card, and then the bank gave me a new card number. That meant everything that, like, any kind of recurring payment had the old number. So I've had to go through everything and update my credit card information. And
but not only that, you'd want to be changing passwords to any account that had your credit card details in it.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't use the same password for everything. I use a password manager. That's just
Okay.
yeah. It's just like gobbledygook,
changing mine.
which I highly recommend. This podcast is not sponsored by, I don't know, what's a password manager these days. LastPass. There you go. There's one.
Frank.
Yeah.
Good friends with Craig.
Yeah. Besties.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. But just speaking on just like theme park visits, to be honest, yeah, I feel like you guys have just kind of been taking a back seat. It's I mean, don't get me wrong, going to Dreamworld yesterday was great. Especially since it's, up here, school holidays just started on Saturday, and as such the country fair event has been happening. And the country fair in recent year, like in previous years, hasn't particularly been my favorite event. It's always kind of just been like, it's the event that they put on before Halloween.
Right.
But they have made what I think is a really positive addition, and they've taken a leaf out of what they do at the food festival, and you can buy a dining pass. So it's $35, and you can get up to, so you get one savory item, 2 drinks, and 1 sweet item. You also have the option to upgrade one of your drinks to a refillable souvenir cup for $5. So if you don't have one, like that's a great way to just get one of a refillable souvenir cup, because they're normally like $17. And but where in the street food festival you were quite limited to what food items you could get at the outlets, you can pretty much get anything you want on during the country fair. Like, hold on, let me find the bloody
Pretty good
thing.
price for a dining pass, $35. It's not bad.
Yeah. If I go on webcam, is that going to be a problem? Like, I know that the listeners are not going to
I
be able
don't
to
think
see
it
this,
should
but at
cause
least
any
you guys
problems.
will be able to see this.
No,
Oh my,
Hello. My room is an absolute
there he
mess,
is.
by the way.
I appreciate the cunty bob and the nipple pasties.
Yeah.
They're a really nice touch.
That's for later. All right. Anyway, so you go to the Main Street Emporium, and you go to the front desk. Which, by the way, have you guys seen all the renovations that they've done inside the Emporium shop now?
Yeah, I think
Just from what I've seen in like videos from Jags and TPO.
Yeah, it's really good. They've made it pretty much all open plan now. So instead of the where you go to get your photos being a separate venue, it's all just the one thing.
I have my own opinions on it. Jake, what are your thoughts?
I think that there was a lot of especially just remembering my experience of going through there when you exit the park. At the end of the day, it always did feel a bit like it's a bit of a labyrinth, and you've got people trying to go and get photos and people trying to shop for merch, and everyone's kind of all over the place. So I think open plan kind of opens it up a little bit more and makes that a bit less of an issue. But I don't know. What are your thoughts, Kieran?
I think from a user experience, like, ease of use, like getting through, like, not having to duck and weave between things, yes, it's good in that regard. But I think, like, as far as vibes and stuff goes, it's a little bit lacking. Like, it feels like a best and less.
I get where you're coming from, and unfortunately that is something that has kind of seeped into modern design and architecture these days. As a lot of things have gone very generic, minimalistic, not a lot of character. Actually, a really, really good example of that. So, the week that's just been, I was on holiday with my family over at Moreton Island, and there is a resort on the island, the Tangalooma Resort. Now, I remember going to the resort as a kid. Like, I used to go camping on the island with my family, but we would just, we'd pack up the car and we drive down to just do like a day trip to the resort or something and get like food or an ice cream or something like that. And it used to have like a lot of character and vibe. And now that, like 20 years later or 15 years later since I was last there, they've renovated a lot of the facilities, and it's just that very what you were describing as well in the Emporium. It's just that very generic, doesn't have any kind of
Almost clinical.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well just be at like an RSL or a tavern or something.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they could definitely spruce it up. They just need to put some effort into jazzing it up a bit.
Look, it does look nice for what it is, but I know, with especially since that Dreamworld has set the bar so high with Rivertown in terms of its execution of presentation, we know that they can do better than that. It's just whether or not.
But even the Rivertown General Store has been themed up. Like, and that was essentially just a little box that they've still managed to give a general vibe to. I just don't know why that vibe is missing from the main Emporium.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we've seen them. We know that Dreamworld have the capacity to do that through Rivertown. It's just interesting that didn't seep into the execution of when they were renovating the Emporium. Maybe it's just because they just wanted to get it turned around quickly because it is the main exit for the
Yeah.
for the park. So who knows? Or it could be like a budgetary kind of thing. Like maybe it's gonna be developed in stages. We do know that Dreamworld, once they've finished something, they haven't really truly finished with it. They kind of got into this reputation where they'll just, even after something is open, they'll add something a bit later, or they'll change something a bit later. They're kind of tweaking things as they go and seeing what works.
They're not one to let perfect be the enemy of the good.
So going back to the dining pass, this is what you get. This big chunky thing. It comes on a lanyard. And so it comes with so they scan the barcode, and they also have like a hole puncher. So if for when you buy like a food, like a savory or a sweet or a drink, and then on the back you've got a complete list of all the items that you can claim on the dining pass. It is huge.
Oh, wow.
Like that, compared that to the street food festival, where you could only go to select venues, and at those select venues you could only get one particular item, and it was usually like a reduced portion. Whereas this, it's like, no, like if you want to get a bratwurst or a cheese kranksky, like during the street festival or the food festival, they would cut that thing in half, and then you'd only get like half a bratwurst.
Rude.
With this, you get the full thing.
You get the whole sausage.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it when I get the whole sausage.
Same
I
here.
had a feeling you guys would be pretty happy about that. Yeah, so not gonna lie though, because look, I'm gonna give Dreamworld some leeway for this, because it was the second day of the country fair. It did seem like they were having a bit of teething issues with some of the food venues. Like for instance, I was at the sandwich shop because I wanted to get, they've got because at the sandwich shop the exclusive item for the country fair, they're selling cob loaves, and I saw someone walking.
So you're saying my kryptonite right now?
Yeah, so I saw someone walking around with a cob loaf. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that, and I waited in line for like 15-20 minutes. I got to the front, and they had no cob loaves. They'd already sold out.
Oh, that's hot. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So, and then the next thing, the next kind of like shortcoming that I noticed is that I went to go back to they had like the loaded fries. So you know where they have the loaded fries? It's usually in that corner, just like opposite where the claw used to be, or where King Claw is now. They had to shut that early because apparently they ran out of gas for the fryer.
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really limiting my options as to what I wanted to get, because look, a lot of the options that you can claim on the dining pass are usually just items that you can normally get during a typical day at Dreamworld. Like if you go to Food Central, you can get chicken burger and chips, you can get the bacon burger and chips, you can get a Pluto Pop. These are all things that you can just normally get. Whereas I wanted to get something that was exclusive to the country fair. So I ended up going to the Brat House, which has actually replaced you remember the Roller Coaster Tycoon style hot dog stand that's on the opposite side of the claw?
Yep.
Yeah, which I have tea about as well.
Well, that's gone now.
It's at the Big Banana.
Get out! Really?
They cut off the front of it, and they've like stuck the front of it on the side of a building, so it's now like the hot dog stand at Big Banana.
So they just took the facade off and just stuck it on the front of a building at the Big Banana. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the Big Banana didn't have enough phallic things going for it.
I saw a photo of it on Parks, and I was like, oh my god, that is definitely the Dreamworld hot dog.
Wow. Oh, well, there you go.
Anyway, continue.
Well, but that kind of nicely segues into what the theories are going around, because apparently, according to the Dreamworld staff, they were actually saying that the bratwurst and cheese kranskis were outselling the generic hot dogs. So it's very likely that the Bright House is going to be a permanent thing, which
Nice.
I have no complaints about because I think the bratwurst and cheese cranksies that they have there are absolutely delicious.
Well, you can't beat that snap of a good proper like bratwurst or krankski versus the mush of a Hutton's footy frank.
Oh yeah, and it's not even like this is actually one of the things that I think Movie World actually has Dreamworld beat on when it comes is the hot dogs, because like the hot dogs, like the generic hot dogs that Dreamworld uses are like those bright red ones, like they're just like oversized Cheerios or something, and I hate those things.
Mm,
But and they're so generous. Like I asked them, "Hey, can I have onions and sauerkraut?" And the guy's like, "Sure," and he just destroys it with onions and sauerkraut. Like, Jay, you could actually. Did you see the video that I sent you of the cranky
I
that I got?
did, yeah.
Yeah, how much it
Yeah.
was just loaded.
Loaded with it. Looks so good.
Oh yeah, it was great. But yeah, look, honestly, for value for money, this, if you're gonna go to Dreamworld during the country fair, this is absolutely worth it. Other exclusive items that I got for on the dining pass, they've got a dirty soda stand. So basically it's just like they're just basically like almost doing like mocktails with soft drink. So there's one Coke one, and then there's 3 Sprite ones. I got like a Sprite one, and then they put like watermelon syrup and blue curacao syrup. Not actual blue curacao. It's not alcoholic. But it was really nice. Actually, that was another thing that happened. They ran out of Sprite.
Oh no.
I went back because I was trying to find another drink option to claim, and I was just like, "Oh, I'll go and try another dirty soda." And when I went back, they're like, "Oh, we ran out of Sprite." I'm like, "Oh." So, teething issues. Hopefully, they'll have plenty of Sprite stocked for the rest of the holidays. But instead, I went to the Green Bean Cafe, and they actually been doing matcha frappes, so I had one of those, and that was very, very good.
Fancy.
Ooh,
Very fancy.
Oh, and the churros are doing like apple crumble style churros. So you get the churros, and then they have like cinnamon apples, and then they just drench the whole thing in custard, and it's just amazing.
Hungry now.
I will live vicariously through the both of you.
So yeah, I honestly, big tick to Dreamworld for introducing the dining pass of the country fair. It's actually, to me, it's actually made the event way better. Yeah, and then other than that, I don't know, I was walking aimlessly around the park just filming, so I didn't really get to kind of like soak in too much of the stuff. Oh, like they brought like the petting zoo back, and the old wool shed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they still got, like they still got some pigs, Shetland ponies, goats, and then my favorite, the guinea pigs and bunnies. And
I'm glad to see them using that space again.
well, it only ever gets used during the country fair. Every
Mm.
other time of the year, it just sits dormant. Like
Mm.
now that Dreamworld they finally reopened the Corroboree Theatre and put that
Australian Geographic thing.
yeah, which I did go and check out. I thought that was pretty cool. I feel like the next big development that they're gonna plan to do in the wildlife section will be something to do with the wool shed, because it's just such a wasted opportunity because they've got like this massive facility there and it's just not being utilized to its full potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
I do wonder, sort of related to that section of the park, whether they will start doing the station upgrades to the Jane's Rivertown restaurant station.
Yeah, that is
Because you know how they raised the platform levels on the other 2 stations so that they could be wheelchair accessible.
yes, that is definitely on the cards. I did hear something from a staff member mentioning that the station will be returning, but it won't be going in that exact spot. It will be moved
Okay.
a little bit closer towards where the wool shed is. That's what I
That makes more
heard. So
sense.
take what I say with a grain of salt, because they didn't even seem too sure about it. The only reason why I feel like they would be doing that is because where the current station location is, it's a very, very limited space. And if they wanted to
Hmm.
put in the upgrades that to make it accessible friendly, they're gonna need a bit of extra room to make that work.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can
Yeah,
think
fair call.
of.
It is a bit crammed in there from what I've seen.
Oh, absolutely. But look, only time will tell. Look, honestly, this is the exciting thing about Dreamworld. It's just like every single, it doesn't matter where you go, that there's always something new or interesting happening. It could just be the tiniest thing. Like when I was in the wildlife section, I noticed that the netting that used to be over where the aviary is or was, it's all gone now. They tore it down because I mean, mind you, it had massive holes in it, so they couldn't even safely keep birds in it. But whether or not they're going to replace that with a new net, and so they can put birds in that area again, hopefully.
It's funny. I have been noticing just since Jake put his latest video out, with all of the updates and showing the construction videos about King Claw, you just forget how much smaller the regular Claw was by comparison.
Oh, I know. That was actually the first time me seeing it in person. I think fully assembled, and I got to tell
Mhm.
you, this thing is absolutely gigantic. It is just it. Well, it is actually well, when the claw is at its full swing, it is the second highest structure in the park, below Giant
That's
Drop.
wild.
Because it's tall when it's at its full swing. It's taller than the Gold Coaster, and it's taller than Steel Taipan.
You don't think about that, like, it's just wild to think about that scale.
And honestly, kudos to them actually squeezing it into that footprint as well, because they didn't
Mm.
have a whole lot of land to work with.
How much clearance does it have between, like, its sort of swing towards Main Street and the covered section?
That I couldn't tell you, hey, because I mean,
But surely it must be getting pretty close.
have you watched any of the test footage? There's been a lot of people that have been just like camping out front Dreamworld like late at night and just waiting for them to test the King Claw, because they've been doing it after hours mostly.
Um,
Yeah, I've seen some of the footage.
I have too, but I hadn't sort of put two and two together in my head as to, how close it was. Let's have a look.
Apparently, they haven't been testing it at full speed yet. So, who I
Oh, it's not close.
oh, so there is a fair bit of gap between the old Big
No, I
Brother.
mean, it's not close, so it's close
Oh,
from the looks of
okay.
things.
Well, that might
Um,
make for like a good like foot chopper effect or something.
near miss, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I can't tell whether that's the covered area or if that's just those weird sort of themed side buildings.
Oh, the facades. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell from this angle.
Ah, fair enough.
There you go.
Those lap bars.
Oh, they look so good. That's gonna be like the thing that makes that ride, in my opinion. Now, as for someone who
Yeah.
has earlier this year went to Luna Park Sydney for the first time and went on Sledgehammer, like, yeah, it's because I mean, look, I enjoyed Sledgehammer, like the ride experience itself, because because it's a 360 and the hang time that you go on the top is great. But yeah, those restraints suck, and the seats
Yeah.
suck. Um, I did know what I was getting myself into because I have been on a Zamperla discovery. I went on, forgive me if I get the name incorrect. I think it's called Cyclonator at Paulton's Park.
Okay.
And that was a very meh ride, to say the least. Like it's it's one of their smaller models, and the full swing of the pendulum, it only goes like 90 degrees. It doesn't do
Oh.
it only goes sideways. Which, look, honestly, to be fair, for a family theme park like Paulton's, that's probably like a really, really good fit. It's like kind of like a gateway thrill ride rather than being a full-fledged thrill ride. But for me, it was just like, this is whatever. And yeah, it had the exact same like hard fiberglass seats with the automatic, very hard, rigid, over-the-shoulder restraints. Yeah, not the most comfortable experience.
It's the shape of it all is just so wrong. Like it doesn't. The way it sits on your shoulders it's not at the right angle. Like it's like too wide and flat. It doesn't accommodate your body.
It's too geometric.
Yeah,
it's not ergonomic in any sense of the word.
It's like they designed the ride without thinking of the people that would have to sit in it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Are Italian people just kind of like very geometrically shaped?
Probably. It's a me, Squario.
It's Steve from Minecraft.
Steve from Minecraft. Oh god.
But yeah, I mean that's all I can really report on. I mean, I haven't been to Movie World in a good while.
Neither have I.
Actually, the last time I was there, it was hilarious. I parked up and I was walking towards the entrance, and I saw the Green Valley. Sorry, the Green Valley, not the Green Valley.
Green Valley.
It never leaves you. the Green Lantern ride car just valleyed at the bottom of the dive drop.
I remember. I saw that happened.
Yeah, it valleyed. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what?
That's crazy.
Good
I don't
old
know how they
SNS
managed
for
to
you.
valley that.
Apparently, it's not the first time that's happened.
It doesn't seem like it should have that issue.
Like you'd think it'd have enough momentum behind it.
I feel like even when it's running super slow, like it's a big drop and it's not a huge ascent up into those first breaks. You'd feel like it shouldn't do that.
Well,
really.
But no one, also on that same token, no one thought that Rivals would ever valley, and it did.
Yeah, I mean, speaking from experience, you would be shocked how different the speed can be if a coaster's running completely cold and completely empty. I remember Big Dipper. It would be a huge difference. That ride is only like 30 seconds long, but it could be like 10 seconds difference.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So winter mornings when we ran our empty trains, sometimes maintenance would I remember two things that maintenance would get us to do. First of all, sometimes we were told, hey, we've already done an empty run. If you need to do empty runs for your checks, send someone in it because it will not make it back. And then other times we had throughout the day, if it was a really, really cold day and we weren't having people come through, we just had to keep sending empties like intermittently every 10 to 15 minutes
keep it warm.
to keep it warm.
I thought the other thing they were going to recommend you to do is to like clench your butt cheeks and pray to the gods that it doesn't valley or something.
Well, I remember the big concern with Big Dipper was the one spot where it can valley is in the
non-inverting loop.
The non-inverting loop.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is getting a crane in there would be a
Oh,
nightmare.
Hmm.
oh, it
So they were always very like, do anything you want to the ride, do not valley it.
Yeah,
Because
true.
that'd be an expensive operation. So like, obviously, fair enough. Like, maintenance have done the empty runs. We know the ride's good to go. Let's make sure that we're having a little bit of weight in the train.
Yeah, at least Village Roadshow had the foresight to just um trap a forklift in the middle of Leviathan's ride envelope in case that happens.
The captive forklift.
Yeah, I wonder if that was intentional or not. Like they just built the ride, they went, "Oh shit, we forgot to move the forklift." All right, whatever.
The forklift.
It's
Or the
it's
cherry.
the concept art where they had like the forests and the waterfalls and stuff. That's just native fauna.
That's so good. You wouldn't think Leviathan could valley.
Oh, look, it's
Just the relentless pace it has.
yeah, but
It'd
man,
be
it's
hard
right
to-
next to the ocean.
It is.
And the amount of times that I've gone to SeaWorld and Leviathan has not been opened, whether it was due to wind or staffing issues or something like that, I feel like it's been not open more times than it has been open. But not because there was something necessarily wrong with the ride. It was usually during to like I feel like it was either something to do with high winds or something to do with staffing issues. Same thing with Trident. Trident is more times down than it is up in my experience.
Yeah, that
And again, it begs the question why they went ahead with putting such a tall ride next to the ocean.
Trident was a very baffling choice of ride for that.
Especially when they
particular
already
area.
knew what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah, they already had experience with the with the
with the temp one.
yeah, the one that I remember when that was there. That was so weird. Why was that there?
Yeah. I think it was just they just needed something like a stopgap because like when was the last time SeaWorld ever received something before New Atlantis, like including Vortex? Like Vortex came in 2019 and then we literally had to wait like 3 years for Leviathan and Trident to open. I mean
2019 then, other than like a few things, like I remember Creatures of the Deep was there for a while.
yeah, that hung around for about 3 years, I think.
What was the last like attraction to be added? Was Storm Coaster the last thing to be added? No, actually, the Nickelodeon Land was 2015.
Is that when boating? Yeah, Boating School Blast I think was 2015, 2016.
Yeah, and then Storm's
Yeah.
2013.
Yes.
So yeah, big gap in editions, and we're in yet another big gap in editions now.
Well, look, and this is the thing. This is the thing that I've noticed with the Gold Coast theme parks, or in general. Like, you go through these periods where everything happens all at once between all of the parks, and then it just dies off for like 5-6 years, and then rinse and repeat.
Do you think it's that they kind of forget that they have to add things for a while? They're like, oh yeah, we're looking good here, and then it's not until it kind of gets a bit stale and run down.
I do think it's definitely an element of the management kind of probably resting on their laurels a little bit, or maybe looking at too much from like, okay, we need to get our return on investment on this on our last expansion first before we can think about the next thing. Whereas that's not how the theme park industry works. You got to keep the momentum going. You got to have add something new every single year to keep people returning. Otherwise, your attendance will drop off. And actually, it kind of makes me think. Going back to Dreamworld, we haven't really heard anything announced for the park specifically for 2026 yet. Because if you remember, King Claw was announced before Rivertown even opened. We're in September, like late September of 2025, and we still haven't heard anything that's on the horizon for like a new expansion or development for the park. I'm not including, the hotel and the apartment complex and the shopping complex and stuff, because that's outside of the park. And isn't that like a joint venture with the Queensland government or the Brisbane Gold Coast City Council or something?
Yeah, I don't think they're building that out of their own pockets.
Yeah, I think it's a joint thing. But in terms of like actual like new development within the park, it's been radio silence. So unless they're
Look, I would
thinking Big Brother is going to be the thing for 2026.
not be shocked if there's a year gap, because they've spent like $50 million over the last few years on Rivertown and Kenny and Belinda's Dreamland and King Claw and everything, and then it looks like they're now
Well,
pivoting their attention towards this hotel retail precinct thing.
Yeah. Well, Kenny and Belinda's Dreamland was more of a necessity than anything, because they had to get rid of the DreamWorks branding. Yeah. Look, they did a good job. Like, they just they didn't do anything, like, didn't go extravagant theming or anything like that. They just kind of made it presentable. Kind of the same thing what they did with the Giant Drop. Like, they just like, all right, we just need to get this thing looking nice. Because it was looking they were looking very old. It was very tired, dilapidated. Let's just clean it up, give it a new coat of paint, and then we'll sit on that for a while, and then we can come back to it later, kind of thing. I think that's my interpretation of what might have been.
So I guess
the discussions in the boardroom.
So I guess where next? What's the next dilapidated area of the park that needs a revitalization? For me, it's Rocky Hollow.
That is I mean, that is a massive plot of land for them to expand upon. Whether or not
I think.
Go on.
Sorry.
No.
I think they'll probably want to finish up on Ocean Parade first, so
I 100%
figure out
agree with
what's
you.
going on.
That's what I think as well, because you've got Kevil Hill / Count Kenny's mansion, the old Trolls Village, where Flow Rider used to be. That whole area, like, there's so many things you could do in that area, and then the expansion pad behind it.
Definitely something needs to be done there.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the only thing that kind of puts a spanner in the works is that whole section of the park is shut off because of Big Brother. Like, you can't even get to Gold Coaster anymore. Gold Coaster is just shut indefinitely at this point.
Hopefully that's not going to be too long.
Yeah.
Well, I think Gold Coast is shut until December.
Yeah.
So, it's just interesting because, like, if they're still building the house, like, I would have thought having Gold Coaster open now while they're still constructing the house inside the exhibition center would be fine. I would figure that they would want to close Gold Coaster when they're filming, like when the show is actually happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless it's just going to be like foot traffic coming into the queue is going to get in the way.
Yeah, fair point.
I don't know.
Has actually? I know you guys discussed this on a previous episode, but has there actually been any confirmation that it is absolutely the house is going in the exhibition center and not we're just setting this up for when they do the live shows and they do the eviction nights?
The only thing I've seen that makes me believe it's the house is that the actual Big Brother social media posted an Instagram story that called it Big Brother Australia house construction, and it was photos from inside the exhibition center.
Yeah, and I know, and I did see a post from Adventures of Theme Park Girl saying that it was confirmed that the Big Brother house was going in the exhibition center as well. So who knows? I mean, I guess that's all we got to go off. Whether or not they're going to be doing like the live eviction nights or Friday night games or something like that, that's a big question mark.
Yeah.
I think Jake said it before. It's probably at least this first season is not going to be on the same scale as to the Big Brother that we're used to.
Yeah, and the reason why they're probably doing that, they're kind of just testing the waters to see, is this going to be viable? Like, if it ends up being a success, we might end up seeing like a true Big Brother like purpose-built house, like we saw in the original 2001 to 2008 run. But I think they're just doing this now is to say, hey, look, we want to give this a go. We don't want to invest too much money into it. So if it ends up being a flop, we can at least cut our losses. And whether or not, it's going to have like the same production value as the original 8 seasons, and we have Friday night games, and God forbid Big Brother Uncut.
That being said, the Big Brother social media channel are leaning into the nostalgia of the earliest Channel 10 seasons.
Yes,
hardcore.
I have noticed.
They've been publishing all of the old seasons on YouTube.
So, but it's just interesting for Dreamworld kind of going back to its family friendly presentation that it had, in the 80s and 90s. Do they want to be affiliated with such a provocative and raunchy brand? Like, because that was the thing that, like, what is the things that you think of when you think of Big Brother? Like, you think of, like, the Sarah Marie bum dance, you think of the turkey slap incident, you think of Big Brother Uncut, you think of, like, drama, things happen.
You think of, I was about to say something and I realized I'll hold my tongue on that one.
And
a rare instance of restraint from Bear Time.
and then you look at the times when other channel networks, like other TV networks, when Channel 9 picked it up, they I think they only got like 2 seasons out of it, and then they dropped it because they tried to clean it up and it didn't get the ratings. And then Channel 7 picked it up, and granted, I think, wasn't it during COVID when Channel 7 was doing Big Brother?
I didn't even know Channel 7 did it.
Yeah, I believe there was a season happening at the time.
Yeah, which, to be honest, would have been the most optimal time to be in the Big Brother house. Like, where would you rather be during COVID?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. At least you got a lot of people around.
Yeah, but you're literally quarantined. Like, there is no risk of you getting COVID whatsoever.
True, but like, I mean, everyone else was like quarantined with either like by themselves or with the same 2 or 3 housemates or family members compared to...
In theory.
But also, you had camera operators and stuff that were like, if the camera crew got COVID, then they didn't have a show.
Well, they made it work. Well, I can't remember how many seasons Channel 7 did, but it didn't last very long. And it was, I think,
that was one of the ones that had Tina Sparkle hosting it, didn't they?
Oh, I don't know. Look, this is the thing. I never really watched Big Brother. I just, like, I'm consciously aware of it, but I never really actively watched it, if that makes sense.
I watched the first couple of Channel 10 seasons. I lost interest when they switched to Kyle and Jackie are hosting it.
Oh, okay. With it, it's interesting because I feel like Kyle and Jackie are, they've got quite a big pull. So it's interesting that when they took over as host, that kind of deterred you from wanting to watch the show.
I've never really been their target audience, to be fair.
I think they're they have a bit of a toxic brand.
Yeah,
a
little bit. And I liked Gretel.
She could not control the audience to save her life, though. Like, I remember, do you remember Comedy Inc? They used to make fun of her all the time. They'd just be like, all right, calm down, shut the f*** up!
Oh, just the poor dear sort of trying to keep the show going when Merlin and his Free the Refugees sign
I
came
remember
out.
that. Oh, yeah, he had the gaff tape. And he just had, like, the cloth up that said Free to Refugees on it.
Free to Refugees, yeah.
Oh, man.
Valid political statement, but yeah, it's...
Well, it was very vague.
Poor Gretel was just like, well, what the fuck do I do with this? Because he wasn't actually saying anything.
Yeah, he's like,
he
are you going to say anything?
Yeah.
And in typical total Bearloni fashion, we have just gone completely off topic.
Hooray!
What were we
I,
even talking about?
we were Dreamworld, and then we veered into Big Brother, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it back to theme parks, but I'm going to go international, and I'm going to tread lightly and cautiously, because of the news that came out of Epic Universe this week.
Oh, I heard about that. Yep.
Yeah.
I have things to say on this. I will need to tread carefully though,
Yeah.
All right.
because I don't want to say something that's wrong.
Yeah, and also don't want to be sort of creating content on off the back of a tragedy,
Of
etc.
course, yeah.
But yeah, so our hearts go out to the person's family and friends, and that the horrible situation when that person lost their life, on Stardust races over at Epic Universe. Details are still coming out in dribs and drabs. I don't think we really know concretely for sure what the actually.
Last update I had heard was that it had officially been stated that the ride mechanism was not a
Yeah.
contributing
Okay.
factor.
From all accounts, from at least from what I've read, which has been vague at best, it doesn't sound like there was any kind of fault with the ride itself or even the operations.
I do have question marks over the operations. But again, it's just question marks, and a lot of those question marks are largely because of the fact that, like you've mentioned, we've got so little information to go off.
Like, I've heard conflicting things from eyewitness reports to,
Yeah,
all different things. So until we sort of really hear official news and whatnot, there's a lot of speculation that could be going on, and I don't want to be sort of, contributing to that. But yeah, it's a horrible situation. And from a trusted manufacturer like Mac Rides, it's wild to imagine. But yeah, until we all know things for sure, we can't really draw too many
Yeah.
conclusions. Other than that, our hearts and thoughts go out to all of those affected. Not only the person who lost their life, but hell, even ride ops and park staff that would have just been traumatized by it, and park goers.
You'd never want to work there again. Yeah,
No.
it's your worst nightmare. Yeah, awful situation. I have been following it quite closely with the tiny amount of information that we've got, simply because it's the little information that we've got just doesn't click for me yet. Like, usually I hear about an incident and I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of come to my own conclusion about what happened there. This doesn't. There's something that we don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm following it with interest, but obviously, it's just a tragic situation all round.
Yeah, there's so much. Yeah, I think we're definitely all still in the point where there's many questions that still need to be answered. And honestly, yeah, I think Kieran, I think you just put it best. The only thing that we can really do at this point in time is just basically wish that, hope that, the immediate family members and anyone who was actually there to witness the event, they're all right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's yeah, tragic.
well, I was just gonna say is like in terms of Kieran kind of got us on the international side of things. Like, have we heard of any well, I feel like the biggest thing that's coming up right now is Halloween. This time is when we start hearing things about, oh, what's Universal going to be doing for Halloween? What's Disney going to be doing for Halloween? Even what's Movie World going to be doing for Halloween? All that stuff is. I was like, have you guys talked about Fright Nights yet?
We haven't.
Well, let's do that.
I'm not actually familiar as to what's proposed this year.
They have announced 2 new mazes. I do know that. So Deceased, Hellship, and Circus are returning. They have finally retired the Conjuring universe and Death Row after being at Fright Nights for the past three years.
That sounds silly considering they're just about to put a new Conjuring movie out.
Yeah, but all the scenes were only relevant to the movies that had just been.
Right.
Yeah, so when they came at when the Conjuring universe was there, I believe the last one had just been released, which was The Devil Made Me Do It, and so there were scenes in that were in the maze that actually referred to that. There was also a lot of scenes that referred to The Conjuring 2 because they had already done that maze in 2016 and 2017, and of course
Yeah.
that's the one that has Valak, which is probably the most prolific villain in the Conjuring universe. But the two new mazes that they've announced for this year is the Eternal Dark Maze, which looks like a space theme. Yeah, spacecraft.
Okay.
Please stay there. Spacecraft Eternal. Why you keep moving? Stop it! It's like, oh man, if I'm trying to read and it keeps auto scrolling. Oh, there we go, done. Eternal Dark Maze. Beware, once inside, you may be lost in the void forever. The spacecraft Eternal has returned, but what came back is no longer human. Once a beacon of exploration, the derelict spacecraft now drifts in silence. Its halls pulsing with alien infection. Inside, half-human crew members stalk the corridors in search of fresh host. Step aboard if you dare.
That sounds cool.
Definitely
No.
going into like an Alien, or if you're into your video games, Dead Space.
Yep.
Maybe even a bit of Doom.
Have you all been watching Alien Earth?
I watched the first episode. I've been meaning to watch the rest of it.
I've really liked it so far.
Yeah. Like, the only thing just off the first episode, I'm just like, they have just got the cinematography and the vibe of the original 1979 Alien film to a T. It's just
And
bang on.
it feels like it's finally exploring different territory than rather than rehashing the Sigourney Weaver movies over and over like they have with all the other movies lately.
Oh, with you mean like Romulus and Covenant?
Romulus, Covenant, Prometheus to an extent, like they're not trying to just recreate sort of the Ripley-esque character over and over.
No, I get it. It's that it does look like they're taking it in a new angle, especially that in this one, like, isn't the central character a synthetic? Or it's actually a group
And
of
it's
synthetics?
yeah, but it's not only that, it's talking about sort of, going behind these global conglomerate companies like Wayland Yutani and other companies that are all vying for market share and sort of exploring that as a dynamic, and how that companies can sort of own countries and in cities and stuff like that. It's a really interesting take on it. I've really been enjoying
They
it.
did explore that a little bit in Romulus, because
They
the whole
did.
premise is that, that you're basically, all these people are trapped on this planet and you're basically owned and work for Wayland Butani or whatever, the corporation, and then they escape, but then they end up, yeah, you've seen the movie.
Yeah. Which is it's great, and I'm glad they've sort of gone off that as like as a jumping off point. But it's I don't know, there's just extra nuance in there in this. There's sort of nuanced conversation on the concept of you know life prolongment through downloading of consciousness, and the concept there is like if you upload your consciousness to a synthetic body, is it just a copy of your memories and you die with your original body? It's like it's all very existential. Yeah, it brings a lot of philosophical questions up, which I like. It makes you think.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm only obviously basically basing that off my viewing of just the first episode, and yeah, it covers a lot of ground in just that one episode. I feel so I'm keen to watch the rest of it. How about you, Jake? Have you actually watched it?
I have not yet. I will get around to it.
Thoroughly recommend.
I am currently on still on my SBS on demand adventure. Let's call it an adventure.
So you've experienced perlers such as Supergirl and the Lawnmower Man. Have you gotten any new gems that you had not previously experienced before?
So, one that I watched that was the most. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it's new. It's new. It's called Sasquatch Sunset. It's got
Okay.
Jesse Eisenberg in it. But the whole premise is just it's this family of Sasquatches that kind of slowly encounter humans or like human activity. And it seemingly just wants to be the most offensive movie to your eyes that it possibly can be.
Is it like rolling
Okay.
off the virality of those AI generated Bigfoot videos?
It could be. It just seemed to want to like it just the unnecessary level of just like I hate that I just witnessed that. Like, you know, blood, gore, vomit, animalistic sex scenes, pee, poop, breast milk. It's just
everything. It's just all.
awful. It's
It's
just an
just gross
offense
out
on your
humor.
eyes. It's just really like
I don't know. You're kind of selling this movie.
look, if you want to watch a dialogueless film where Jesse Eisenberg as a Sasquatch and a bunch of other Sasquatches all go around pissing and shitting and fucking and everything else, go right ahead.
Dude, it's got 72% of Rotten Tomato.
Yeah, I know. We looked it up afterwards and we were like, what is wrong with movie critics? It's actually like it feels like it like there's really childish humor in it. It's just really grotesque. It's just not fun to watch at all. The dad Sasquatch dies.
This sounds like a perfect movie to watch with
Dad
misses.
Sasquatch dies because he eats a mushroom that makes him high, and then he tries to fuck a mountain lion. And the mountain lion eats him.
Oh god, for a second there, I thought you were gonna be like, he's a mushroom who gets poisoned. Like I was thinking of like, the mushroom killer.
No. He just gets high on him.
No beef
No
Wellingtons
beef
here.
Wellingtons in this movie. Oh, and the mountain lion's a recurring character too, because there's an even more offensive scene than that, which I don't even know if I feel comfortable recounting on the podcast.
All right, well, we'll keep this spoiler free, shall we?
Let's just say it's the mountain lion, and every time the mountain lion appears, get ready to be traumatized.
Duly noted.
Okay, I have to point this out. So I googled Sasquatch sunset, and you know how Google has like the people also ask section, like other Google prompts like
Yep.
relating to the very first one is what's the point of Sasquatch sunset?
I've just Googled it as well, and the second one is Sasquatch sunset gross?
Yeah, that's what I want to.
And I can tell you definitively, yes. Yes, it is. But also,
dear.
so the I believe the director of that movie, yeah, so the directors, Nathan and David Zellner, they must have a thing with Sasquatches because they also made a short film in 2010 called Sasquatch Birth Journal 2.
So, where was Sasquatch Birth Journal 1?
The director's thinly veiled fetish.
I think it might be a fetish.
or it's just one of those things where, like, some filmmakers, what they'll do is that they'll do a short film from or as like a film school project, and then once they've actually got like the feet wet in the industry, they'll go and revisit that concept and turn it into like a full-length feature film. Like a good example,
Sort of like how Mike Flanagan did with Oculus.
I'm not familiar with that. I was going to say, have you ever watched the Babadook?
I have.
So the Babadook was originally a short film, like 9 years prior to the actual film coming out. That's also a great movie, actually, Jake. If you have not seen that, go and watch the Babadook.
I've seen the Babadook. It is a fantastic movie. I love my horror films.
Essie Davis, who is in that, is also in Alien Earth.
Oh, okay.
I do have some more theme park news for you.
Oh, okay.
Please do go on.
All right. After this, though, can we go back and talk about Fright Nights?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But, yeah. What?
Us get sidetracked.
Circuit Breaker at Codaland is now testing.
I did see that come up in my feed.
The second of the new Vekoma Tilt coasters after Siren's Curse.
It was the first announced
The first announced one. It's just been delayed. They've officially announced that it's not opening this year as well. It's not going to be open until 2026.
Oh, geez. They've had some really bad luck. Like, not just with Circuit Breaker, but with Palindrome as well. Like, is Palindrome open?
No, Palindrome is also opening 2026.
Oh, man.
Which it's fully complete and standing as far as I'm aware as well. So
what happened? Did they just run into like money issues?
I have no idea. I think the overall construction of the park has like fallen way behind schedule. Because like they're supposed to be building a little SBF coaster, and like apparently it's not even like there yet. So I don't know. They've just had heaps of delays, I think.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you what though, once they get past this and all these rides open,
It's gonna be a good
I really, really hope it pays off for them. Hey.
little park. I mean, if a Vekoma Tilt coaster and then a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster with like a shuttle layout, that's a pretty good 1-2 combo for a park of that size.
Oh yeah, they went the full hog. Like they were just like, no, we're not gonna start off with like a, let's just get like a Vekoma SFC 450, or let's get, like a Mine Train coaster or something like that. No, they're just like boom, straight to Vekoma Tilt.
It feels very much like a Fun Spot Atlanta move.
Yes, very much so. Absolutely. Yeah, you go from Hurricane to Air Force One.
Such a crazy park. Anyway, Fright Nights.
Yes. Well, what I was gonna I read the little synopsis of whatever that other, what was the other maze called again? I forgot. Eternal Dark Maze. So they have the Crypt of Cain maze, which is the other newly announced maze for this year, and this is what they have written on the website. Beneath the infamous Hotel of Horrors lies something far darker, the Crypt of Cain. Once the site of ritualistic killings, its basement now festers with twisted fiends, feeding and multiplying. Step beyond the stairs and into the bowels of terror, but beware, few ever return. So, they've really, outside of Deceased, this is all my understanding. These are all original concepts.
That's good, actually.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, because that, like, as much as I'm a stickler for originality and not having such a dependency or a leniency on third-party IPs,
It is Movie World.
that has always been that is the bread and butter of Movie World. Like, it is supposed to be based on known film franchises.
Well, has there been any properties that they would have the right horror properties that they would have the rights to recently that have done something relevant enough, I guess?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Because
Well, I think the issue is that Village Roadshow, while they have the Warner Brothers license like for Movie World, don't they only have licenses for specific properties to use within theme parks?
yeah,
Yeah, so they have the Warner Brothers license, like, so they can use things like DC characters, Looney Tunes, and certain Warner Brothers properties. Um,
mm,
but outside of that, and then of course, if they've had signed like an agreement with like another film studio, like for instance, they would have had to have signed a licensing deal with MGM for Wizard of Oz, for example. Which, by the way, I actually found out something quite interesting. I'm just going to Google it real quick, just to make sure.
I thought
got this
that
correct.
Disney owned the rights for Wizard of Oz at some point.
well, MGM is currently owned by Amazon.
They bought. Did Amazon buy MGM, or did they just buy the James Bond license, like the franchise?
That's a good question. Owned? No.
No.
Warner Brothers
Oh,
Entertainment
there you
owns
go.
the primary
But
rights to the
MGM,
1939 film.
MGM has been owned by Amazon.
Really?
MGM Studios, subsidiary of Amazon, since 2022. It is owned by Amazon.
So MGM is owned by Amazon. Interesting. So how come? So how come the Wizard of Oz, like the Warner Brothers, owns the rights to the Wizard of Oz film? If it was made by MGM,
That's a good question.
I'm not
I
sure.
actually don't know.
Even more complicated is that the songs specifically created for the 1939 film, such as Over the Rainbow and Ding Dong the Witch is Dead, have separate copyrights.
I think it just
Yeah,
comes down to where
right.
they when they sign things into rights for merchandise, and I guess theme parks and all that sort of thing fall under that, and it's all eventually just been sold off over some point along the years. Speaking of rights, and something else that has been in the news this week that might play into the movie world might be affected by, Warner Brothers is looking like it's going to be purchased.
Oh, like Warner Brothers
By
Discovery.
There are two Warner Brothers Discovery, yes, and there are two horses in the race as of right now: Paramount and Netflix.
I know the listeners can't see my face right now, but what?
So
I
apparently
didn't think
Paramount
Netflix had any money.
apparently Paramount have put in a bid. Apparently they're looking like potentially splitting Warner Brothers into two separate entities as well, separating their studios and their streaming from their cable channels in the US, and they might be sold to separate companies. But yeah, Netflix have apparently also are rumored to have entered the race.
What? That's crazy.
So what that would mean for movie world is completely up in the air, yet to be seen. Maybe it'll be good for them. Maybe they'll get access to, let's say it's Paramount that buys it, they might get access to. It could be bad because maybe they might not really be interested in that relationship with Village Roadshow. Who knows? But Warner Brothers.
Maybe if they were bought by Paramount, they'd have people who had a bit more experience running theme parks
Possibly.
behind them, considering Paramount ran a lot of the Cedar Fair parks for a while.
Possibly. But the important thing to remember is that Warner Brothers doesn't have an own or operating stake in movie world anymore. They haven't in a long time. It's now just a
No, they did
licensing
down the
agreement, and
line.
it's entirely run by Village
Yeah.
Roadshow.
But here's the thing too, and this is the thing that I was going to mention before. The Wizard of Oz, like the copyright for the 1939 Wizard of Oz film, will enter the public domain on the 1st of January 2035. So all that Village Roadshow had to do was sign a 10-year licensing deal for The Wizard of Oz, and then once 2035 hits around, they don't have to pay a cent.
Hmm. Yeah, I suppose they wouldn't. I wonder how much, because there would also be like, though, the argument of whether certain people's likenesses then fall under copyright, whether they would have to make it a more general interpretation of the Wizard of Oz. But I guess,
Well, it's the copyright of the 1935 film, so I would imagine that it would still incorporate the likenesses
yeah,
of the characters
what I'm,
associated with that version of it. Like, it's not like they're just
yeah,
using generic pictures of Judy Garland. They're using Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz.
that's true, but I think that people's likenesses tend to, if they're not like otherwise signed off to copyright in the release on, for example, a film, I think you do tend to then have the rights over your own likeness. So if they were using The Wizard of Oz on the basis that it was public domain, there may be an argument that Judy Garland's estate might be able to say, you owe us royalties for using her likeness. I don't know how that really works. But
I'd have to look into that one, but that is a
Um,
very interesting point. By the way,
And another, sorry.
I was just gonna say
Continue.
to answer the question before, yeah, apparently Warner Brothers Discovery kind of more or less inherited the rights to the Wizard of Oz film, because okay, so original production 1935 1390 film was produced by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Ted Turner's Turner Broadcasting acquired MGM's film library before May 1986, and then when he merged with Time Warner in 1995, Warner Brothers inherited the rights to The Wizard of Oz. So that's how Warner Brothers ended up acquiring
Okay.
the rights to The Wizard of Oz. It was just like basically osmosis.
However, Disney owned the rights to adapt all of Baum's books except for The Wizard of Oz, but they also own the rights to the ruby slippers. They paid handsomely so they could use them when making Return to Oz.
Oh, so that's how they got away with it. Interesting.
Wait. Okay, I don't remember the stage musical well enough. But is that to remember if this was a thing, but is that why they're just jeweled slippers in Wicked?
Yes, so actually,
They're silver shoes
Yeah.
in Wicked, and in the book there were
Oh, they
silver
were,
shoes.
they were
Yeah,
in the book too.
They only made them ruby slippers for the 1939 film because they translated better in Technicolor.
Okay,
correct.
yeah.
Correct. I was just about to say that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they were originally. Yeah, the book originally had silver slippers, and yeah, Wicked is technically more accurate to the book in that regard.
Makes sense. I couldn't remember from my knowledge of the stage musical if it was silver on stage as well, but I guess it would have been.
Yeah, but look, just to round this section up, the Wizard of Oz precinct at Movie World sucks.
Hey, that's my line.
And that's the Village Roadshow bashing of the episode.
I've been trying to praise them a little bit more in my videos recently, just so I don't look like I'm constantly after them.
But I mean, look,
And also considering that they're now popping up in the comment section of Aussie creators.
They are. I doubt that I'll ever be one of those creators because I think I hurt their feelings.
but here's the thing, man. It's like you got to give credit where credit is due, and unfortunately, they haven't really been doing anything to actually like anything noteworthy, in my opinion. It just seems to be one disaster after another. It's exactly what you said in I think like 2 episodes back, where they've just got so much on their plate, and they can only really tackle one thing at a time. So it's almost, to me, they're very much in the position where Dreamworld was, 10 years ago.
Yeah, they almost need that same kind of complete restructure where someone's going to come in and be like, right, let's completely rejuvenate this park.
and have a grand plan
Yeah.
for it all.
Yeah, they really
Yeah.
need that, and I don't think that they're currently getting that.
Also, can I just take this as an opportunity? Look, I have no idea if they even listen to this. Probably not. But I actually think just in my recent years of just being finding someone to point the finger at as to what's been going on at the behind the scenes at Village Roadshow, I honestly feel I gotta give Clark Kirby and Prakash Ranhawa an apology, because I don't think this is their fault anymore. Even though
it screams a little bit, what's going on right now screams a little bit private equity.
Oh, this is 100% BGH Capital.
Yeah, it screams a little bit. It's a cash cow to them, and
Look,
they don't want to invest anything into it.
Look, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, Prakash he's walked. He's out of the company now.
Yeah,
and yet there's still the operations still haven't improved, which to me suggests that Prakash probably had his hands tied behind his back and he was expecting to build a palace, you know.
Look, on its surface, Movie World probably should be my favorite park in the country because I'm a coaster boy. I'm all about my roller coasters. So to have a 1-2 combo like DC Rivals and Superman, and then have some other pretty decent coasters there backing it up as well. On paper,
great supporting lineup.
Yeah, it should be my favorite park in the country. And the fact that it is at the moment pretty far from being that, it's concerning. I do think that, some of what's on their plate at the moment is not their fault. Superman being the key example.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with Superman now. Hey, it's just it's only been 18 months or something when they did the massive overhaul on the launch. They replaced all the accumulator tanks, new cable, basically new everything, and they're still having problems.
I don't want to speak this into existence or manifest anything, so I'm touching wood right now, but I am just going to put it out there that I would not be terribly surprised if we don't see it for very much longer.
Yeah.
What, you don't think it's going to get retrofitted with LSMs?
Possibly. Absolutely. I think that would require quite a bit of investment because
well, they've already thrown a shit ton of money at it already.
That launch track's not particularly long, so my question mark is, do they have to completely reconstruct a whole section of that to lengthen the launch track or whatever?
Or they put LSMs up the top hat.
Yeah.
Up the top hat. Yeah. That's look, I'm whether it's a removal or a refurbishment, I'm just saying I don't think it's very far away, because I think even for such a popular attraction that has been a staple of the park for so long and is one of their biggest draw cards, there's got to be a certain point where you say, can we afford to keep doing this? And like you said, it's only 18 months, if that, since they last had to pour a whole bunch of money into it. Here we are again. We're planning to redo the queue. I don't know if that's ever going to happen because they're pouring all this money down the drain on just getting the ride back up and running.
It's such a shame, because I honestly had my hopes out, because of the fact that they threw so much money at it last year, that Superman would have been one of, if not the last remaining Intamin accelerator coasters in existence. It was going to outlive
all the others,
all the other ones.
To go from that, where I would have probably agreed with you, the only one I can think of that I would say may outlive it is Matagani, because it so recently got relocated. So I assume it's had some work done. But and
it's not as punchy of a launch, is it, as well? It's a relatively small. Yeah,
it's a very small one. Yeah, it's a small one. to go from where I would say, yeah, that's totally believable that it'll be the last one, to me now, I would now say it's one of the favorite candidates for the next one to get
Get the chop. Yeah.
removed.
Well, have we heard it? Have we heard
It's
anything about
pretty.
the other existing accelerator coasters? Like, have we heard much about Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm or Storm Rider at Hershey Park? Like, how are they going?
I haven't heard anything of concern from most of them. I know Accelerator has only just recently got back up from that period of time where it was down for like 2 years or something
Yeah,
like that.
it was down for a
Um,
long time.
So I don't know, maybe it's all I haven't heard anything about it. Every time I hear news from Knott's, it's about Montezuma's.
Jeez. Not much luck with launch coasters there. Next thing you know, Pony Express is going to be doing something.
They're never going to build a launch coaster at that park again. Never.
But long story short, Superman Escape is currently on dialysis and needs a kidney.
Yeah.
And it seems like LSMs may be the kidney, but it's just a matter of time. It's waiting and seeing whether VRTP are able to pay for the surgery.
Pretty much.
Like Lex Luthor is feeding Superman Kryptonite 3's IV drip.
Yeah, I will stand by that statement that I would say I would not be shocked if maybe we've even ridden Superman in that form for the last time.
Yeah, shit. That's such a shame.
It's a real shame. It's a tragedy, but look, the writing has been on the wall for it since everything that went down with Top Thrill and King Dakar. Like, obviously, they are much, much bigger machines. There's so much more stress on all of those components. But as soon as that happened, it's kind of like, oh, well, here we go. It's the beginning of the end for the hydraulic launch coasters. So now that it's twice within the space of like basically 2 years that it's been down unexpectedly to the point where now it's on our CDB listed as SBNO.
Oh shit! I hadn't even seen that.
So it's like, ooh, Movie World's left with a difficult choice of like, do you spend another? Can't imagine it's anything less than at least like $1 million or $2 million on whatever Intamin has to do, or do you pull the plug and say, what do we do with it?
Well, let's entertain the thought that they do decide to pull the plug and say, no, this isn't financially viable anymore. We know that Superman's a big draw card, but it's just a massive money hole. Let's cut our losses, pull the plug, let's put something else in there. What do they replace Superman Escape with?
To me, the LSM retrofit is probably their best option because, first of all, I feel like it actually may end up being cheaper, not having to build a ride from the ground up.
Are they going to be able to keep the moniker "That's Superman Fast"? Because I don't think people are going to get like once they get the LSMs, they're not gonna get off that ride and say that was Superman Fast.
Enthusiasts are going to know what's coming, but I do think the GP are going to get a very rude shock when Superman very slowly rolls them up to speed.
You just need a sound effect where he just goes.
He's getting a bit old. He's got back issues now, Superman. Which leads me also to the conclusion that if they did want to do an LSM version of Superman, I feel like I want them to change the ride in some other way as well. Like, I just don't feel like, because I feel like I already overrate Superman mainly because of the launch. Like, it's still in my top 10. It's that good.
Well, the launch is excellent.
Yeah.
Like you can't beat those hydraulic launches. I mean, I've only been on 3 of them? Question mark.
I think I've been on 3 as well. Yeah.
Which ones have you been on? I've been on Superman Escape, Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm, and Rita. at Alton Towers?
I've done Superman, Stealth, and
and
Leader.
Stealth.
Yeah, so you've
Oh,
done
and
4.
I've done Stealth as well.
Yeah.
So I've done 4.
Same ones, except I
And-
haven't been to Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah. But yeah, you just can't beat those launches. Like they're so good. And honestly, I was surprised that you didn't say the pre-launch section as well,
Really
because
good, yeah.
you know when the effects are working, that is awesome.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like same ride, but just with a straight LSM launch would not be anywhere near as good. So I don't know. I guess in that sense, I'd almost say, well, I feel like you might get a better finished product if you built something new.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and if you do just tear the whole thing down and start from scratch, what do you replace it with? Because again, we as we've seen, you know, these past couple of years, we've seen a lot of big name rides get torn down, and whether or not they've been replaced with something that's quote unquote worthy, it's been very hit and miss.
If they storm coaster Superman, I will be so mad. Hold on, I'm getting up Google Earth so I can look at the land here, because I've got a few things that are rolling through my head in terms of potential replacements, but I just don't know.
I feel like the only thing in my mind that could possibly replace Superman Escape would be a Mark Extreme spinner akin to Ride to Happiness. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, just something so outlandishly balls to the wall that it would just like
It'd fit there too.
Yeah. It absolutely would. I know you've always been a big advocate for getting a Mark Extreme spinner themed Mad Max.
That would be something I would love to see them do. I was thinking about whether they could build an Intamin Blitz, but I'm not sure if it'd have to be a compact one.
You see, but here's the thing though. Like, I feel like if you did that, it would be too similar to Superman Escape, and then all you would end up having was people drawing parallels to Superman Escape and its replacement. So it needs to have that point of difference, which is, I think, with the Mark Extreme spinner, you could do that, and it would also be like a really good thing. Like, it'd be a big fuck you for Village Roto to Dreamworld to say, hey, look, yeah, you've got like a spinning backseat and you're charging people for that. Well, guess what? Everyone gets a spinning seat and it's included in your admission price. Suck it.
That would be a pretty power move.
Here's my question: if they did that, is DC Rivals plus Mark Extreme Spinner the best 1-2 combo in the world?
Ooh. It would be up there.
It'd be.
Question is, and not to put a downer on things, but after the events of the last week, how trigger happy do you think people would be to buy another Mark coaster?
Well, that's where we got to wait to find out.
Yeah.
Whether it was the fault of the coaster or not.
But whether or not, you know that Australian theme park operators are extremely risk averse, and even just the whole notion,
just like guilty by association kind of thing.
We have to find out how much of a role the ride itself played in that. If it turns out to be entirely something else, whether that's, you know, something to do with the rider or some foreign object or something like that, then I'd say we're fine. I don't think that they're gonna get too upset, because that could have happened on any ride. But if the ride did have something to do with that incident, then I would say maybe Mark is not gonna come back to Australia for a little while. I would agree with you.
I could still see Greg wanting to go back to Mark. I think Greg's got, I think he would have the capacity to kind of see through it and be able to say, like, provided that if it comes back and says, you know, the coroner's report comes back and says, look, this was not the fault of the ride was doing exactly what it was supposed to do, etc., etc. I could see Greg being like, you know what, look, that's fine. Like, I'm happy to keep working with Mark in the future with that. I don't know about Village Roadshow.
I feel like both of them
That's my opinion.
both of them have had a very good experience with their Mark installations. Like DC Rivals for Movie World
Mm.
Well,
and even before that, like Scooby and Storm Coaster and
Steel Taipan.
I was
yeah,
just
like
about to mention those.
they've
Yeah.
been good collaborators that have produced some very good rides for both companies. I would be shocked if they were so willing to just go, well, we're never working with you again. I honestly feel like they'd be more averse to working with Intamin at this point.
I was just about to say that too. I mean, considering that Dreamworld pulled the plug on the Tower of Terror because, again, it was just a maintenance nightmare and a money sink, and now Village Roadshow are copying it with Superman Escape. The likelihood that any of the two major park chains in Australia would want to work with Intamin in the future going forward, I don't see it happening. I mean, the only exception I would say is that, you know, Dreamworld is building the King Claw, but that's a flat ride, and that's been more or less proven to be a reliable addition. Like the Claw,
I'd say that for our big parks, it's going to be an era of Mark and Vekoma for a little while.
Yeah.
which I'm totally happy with. Like if we get it,
I want to see a new Vekoma thrill coaster.
yeah, if we get
That's
a tilt
what I wanna see.
coaster, if we get a tilt in either Dreamworld or
Any kind of
movie,
tilt, whatever it is, as long as it's a thrill coaster, because I don't think there's that many currently existing in the world for new Vekoma.
Yeah, we need. I'd love to see something like a Firestorm or the like the ones that they have in China, like what do they call them? Jet Pilot, the Top Gun thrill coasters all look so good. The Bermuda Blitz looks fantastic.
yeah.
What model is Tekuani Beast?
I think it's they gave it a boring name. Let me find it on RCDB. Yeah, double launch coaster 1200.
Okay.
Which I'm like, you called all your other stuff like Firestorms and Bermuda Blitzes and come on, think of something cool.
The only thing is though, if it were to go to, if the next Vekoma Thrills coaster would go to Dreamworld, it would have to be something that we've never seen before in Australia. If you again going back to Dane's Theme Park Life, his interview with Greg, he doesn't just want to add something for the sake of adding something. He wants to add something that's going to stand out and differentiate themselves from the competition. So you got to look at Vekoma's product catalog and see what fits that bill. And the only thing that really springs to mind is the tilt.
Can think of one other. Actually, I can think of a couple of others, but one of them's not very proven yet. The one other that I can think of is their flying coaster.
Ooh,
like Fly at Fantasialand.
That's a fair counterpoint. I've always thought that initially I wanted Village Roadshow to replace Arkham Asylum with a Vekoma Flyer because I would have thought that would have been kind of a good replacement for it. But obviously they went with Wizard of Oz, and we got what we have now. So honestly, yeah, that would be something that would put Dreamworld truly on the map if they did that. If they got a Vekoma Flyer.
The other one, and I guess less so, and also it hasn't actually been installed anywhere yet, so I don't know if particularly I know Greg is very like he wants to build things that he knows are going to be reliable and stuff. But Vekoma has that new.
With that being said, he did take a big gamble on Jungle Rush.
He did, yeah. That new Thrill Glider is the other one. That's
Is that the one that's being built at Six Flags Magic Mountain?
Yeah, and it's been announced somewhere else as well. Somewhere else I feel like it's a park in France. Let me find it. Thrill Glider. It is Futuroscope's building one.
Oh, Futuroscope.
Yeah.
They're punching like
well above their weight.
They're doing some big thing, yeah.
They're a park that came out of the blue from like me being like, oh yeah, I'm aware that it exists, to like now they've like, oh, that actually might be one of my biggest bucket list parks in France right now. Maybe even in Europe.
Yeah, it's like they did Fun Spot Atlanta.
They did. They just came out of nowhere and built some awesome rides. But yeah, so that's the other one. But I feel like also a big part of its gimmick is the motorbike position. So I feel like we've already had that.
And that opens up another point of discussion. There's, I feel like it's probably been done to death, but what's going on with Motor Coaster?
Get it out. Get it out.
Look, if what I have heard is correct, and again, take what I say with is it the biggest grain of salt or the tiniest grain of salt? I don't. Which one is it?
Take it with some sodium.
Yeah. My understanding was that the theory that I heard is that Dreamworld struck a package deal with Intamin. They got the King Claw and some kind of upgrade / retrofit for Motor Coaster.
Here's my beef with that. Yes, if it's, let's say it's trains, I'm glad that those trains will be gone. And once those trains are gone, it won't be the most awful coaster on the planet anymore. It'll still be a damn
But it will still be a
boring
mid coaster.
Yes, in its current state. However, I do think if they're willing to put the effort in, which given that we've seen with Rivertown, if they theme the crap out of it, like they put some like rock work, some near misses, it could be an enjoyable family ride.
I'll grant you that it could at least be a decent family ride. You'd want to smoothen the thing like way up. Probably needs a little bit of like track work as well, like just sandblast the hell out of the track and smooth it all up. But yeah, and it's a new trains and then a hell of a lot of theming. Yeah, I could see that.
See, I think the biggest issue with Motor Coaster for me was the fact that they built it so high off the ground. You lose all that sense of speed, like what you get in rides like Jet Rescue. If obviously it's too far gone to do this now because they built Rivertown and stuff, but rewinding the clock back, 5-6 years or whatever. The best thing I've always thought, the best thing that they should have done was enclose the ride and done something like what you see on Rock and Roller Coaster or the inside section of Verbolten at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, where you just have like a bunch of like fluoro lit props that provide like near misses. And they could have done something like that, and that would have been able to like give that sense of speed.
I want to see it. If they're keeping it and they're retrofitting it with something, I need to see a big amount of work on it, because I don't think that it becomes a good ride with just like a replacement of trains or even like something like upgrading to an LSM launch or anything like that. I don't think any of that fixes the issues. It's got a catalog of issues, and
well, one of the trains is it had two trains, and one of the trains is literally a donor now. That's why it's only been running on one train. Because they can't source parts for it because it was a unique train design specific to that coaster.
Why did they do that? I have no idea to this day what compelled them to do something.
I think it was more about the McDoohan appeal than it was.
From what I heard, because the whole story goes is that Mick Doohan was brought on as like a consultant when developing the ride. I don't think he had any input on the layout, but I think he had input on the train design because they were looking for an authentic motorbike riding experience. And that's what ended up with the monstrosity of the trains that we have now. And that's why, like, after that, Intamin just did their own thing, and it was a much more successful design.
Yeah. And Intamin now, I would say, are the best straddle coasters out there by far. I haven't ridden one from Zamperla yet. I think I potentially will ride my first one in China because China Dinosaurs Park has one. But I have ridden one from Vekoma at Flamingo Land, and it's also, the restraints on that are also shit.
Well, Velocity was one of the first ones, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's, I fully went in being like, hey, a motorbike coaster that I won't hate. And I was so wrong. It actually still sucks. Not quite as badly, but still pretty badly.
Interesting. So I've just looked up Vekoma booster bikes, which was what they only ever built five of them.
So yeah,
So that's not even according to RCDB, they don't include the Tron light cycle run coasters as part of that series of
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, it's like what Fly is to the Flying Dutchman. Like it's the same concept, but they've new gendered.
Yeah. So I'd be very interested to, like it would be interesting to see how good Vekoma's straddle coasters are now. I mean, from all records, I remember when the Tron Light Cycle run opened in which one was it? It was Beijing,
Shanghai.
Oh, sorry,
first,
Shanghai. Yeah.
Shanghai, and then Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, the Shanghai one was just like that looked amazing.
I'll find out soon. Very keen for it, actually.
Before we wrap up, I just want to touch on one other theme park home-related topic, and that is that Macca's Car Park the Musical has its final shows on 12th of October this year.
Macca's Car Park.
Mate, I've seen some whack musicals come out advertised lately. Like there was Shrek the musical with the god awful Shrek costume that on the posters. I saw that. I'm just like, that is the stuff of nightmares. And they also did Around the Twist musical. Did you guys catch wind of that?
I did hear of it. I think we
yeah.
might have talked about it on this podcast.
I just,
for the record, people, I am referring to Hollywood Stunt Driver 2.
Oh,
wait, that took me a minute too.
I thought you were talking about an actual musical there for a second.
Macca's Car Park the musical. Well, we saw that they put out casting calls for whatever they're doing as its replacement.
Yeah, so they've officially announced its final shows will be on the 12th of October.
And here's something that kind of relays back to what we were talking about before about how Village Roadshow have just got they've got their plate full of things that they need to address. Like if we're just focusing on Movie World here, but they can only really work on one thing at a time. Right now it's the very first thing that their attention is focused on is getting Scooby open. Get Scooby open, and then we can focus on the next thing. It's interesting that they decided that the very next thing to focus on was replace the stunt show, because I would have thought that they would want to do something to replace Doomsday first, or something inside the old Maverick show stage. Because
I reckon it was an issue of expiring contracts.
And to be fair, Hollywood Stunt Driver 2 started in 2012 or something ridiculous like that. 2014, yeah, 2014. So it's over 10 years old. They haven't updated their show in 10 years.
With that being said, Police Academy was the same show for 17 years?
Police Academy was also a darn sight better show.
Police Academy was good, is the difference.
Yeah.
There's only so many pit times you can watch a burnout in a car park. That's just
if this new stunt show features cars as anything more than just like a passing sequence, I will be mad. I'm glad that all the motorsport fans got their time, but this is Movie World.
Yeah.
Let's have a movie stunt show, please.
Let's have a plot.
Yeah, a plot.
Yeah.
Some
But that was
stunts and special effects that are not just cars doing mad tricks, bro.
Burnout. But that was the thing that made Police Academy so successful, because it had variety. It wasn't just one particular kind of stuff. You had car stunts, you had people stunts, you had prop stunts, and then you had
had explosions.
Fire. Yeah. The guy that was on fire. I always remember that bit.
Guy on
You
fire.
had the crashing helicopter.
The helicopter, the guy getting blown out of the outhouse, the guy falling off the scaffolding.
The car that quote unquote jumps on rails, over the back section.
Yep.
Having seen Waterworld recently at Universal Singapore. Such a good show.
Likewise at Tokyo.
Such a good show. I would love to see it.
It is fantastic. I've seen it in Hollywood.
It is so brilliant.
It's just a saying that it's just connected to one of the worst movies ever made.
I'd seen it in Hollywood as well, but it was nice to sort of know what was coming up. Be able to film certain sections, go, yeah, this is going to look great in the trailer, but also like look out of the corner of my eye at Heidi's reaction, because she hadn't seen it before and didn't know what was coming up. So it was like seeing the opera house with a tourist.
Yeah, it's always good when you go with someone that hasn't experienced it and you kind of live vicariously through them.
That's
100%.
I'm constantly like asking all my friends that haven't been to the parks before, like, hey, you want to come with me this time? Honestly, like you, Blake, when we went to Green Valley Farm, I was living vicariously through you at that point.
Oh, that was an experience.
Can I hear your report on that? Because you've seen my impression of Green Valley Farm, but I'd like to hear an outsider's perspective.
That place is an absolute gem. Everyone needs to go to Green Valley Farm at least once in their life to experience it. I felt like I didn't even get the full experience anyway, because it was a very cold, drab day. There was a bit.
Oh, you didn't get the water slide.
We didn't get the water slide, and there was actually we nearly didn't even get on the roller coaster for we had to get the green light from the family.
It had recent rain, and when everything's like really, really wet, they get concerned about the risks and insurance and stuff. But we were the only people in the park, and they were very nice once we were like, hey, it looks pretty dry. We're willing to take the risk.
And look, and sure enough, it was all well and good. Like, Jake and I went down together, and that thing absolutely hauled. We nearly made it to the top.
It's one of those things that the more mass you have when you're riding that thing, the faster you go. Dear Lord.
Oh yeah. After I got off with Jake, I just said, "Oh, I should have done that with Heidi." Because with Heidi and I both on the car at the same time, we probably would have hit the top of the hill at the bottom, like the tire that stops you from flying off the end.
We definitely need to organize that creator get together where we rent out a cabin there at some point during the summer.
I'm 100% down.
We'll get, us three, Riley, whoever else wants to come along, make some content, go during water slide season.
I'm gonna have to call Riley.
They make us take leave over the Christmas break, so I'm down at some point during that break.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'm gonna have to twist Riley's arm, I think, because he doesn't seem too fussed about going to Green Valley Farm, but he just doesn't understand. He really doesn't. Like, I am completely sold on that play.
I'm just saying, like, his video style at Green Valley Farm would make
spin the wheel at Green Valley Farm.
Yeah, like, spin the wheel at Green Valley Farm. It's just all that's on the wheel is like roller coaster, water slide, feed the cockatoos.
Oh, come on, Trevor! Don't spin me wrong! Don't spin me wrong! Green Valley Farm. Great.
It's just everything on the wheel is Green Valley Farm. No,
You got to have the museum on there on
oh
the
yeah, the
wheel.
museum is crazy. I
That
swear
is
every
How many
time.
pickled animals?
Yep, the animal. Oh, every time I go back in that museum, I find something new.
that is just an
My
eye-opening
favorite are the bride
experience.
and groom skeletons in the carriage.
Oh yeah.
This time I found the Pope and a baby.
Clear to care to elaborate on that sentence?
No, I'm just gonna say that I went to Green Valley Farms Museum and I saw the Pope and a baby.
I want to mention something. Probably the most eye-opening thing was, I don't know if I should mention this because I don't know if they'll get in trouble or not for it. I'll type it in the chat.
Oh no, what did we do? Did we do something bad?
No. It was something that I saw in the museum that if I
Oh.
were to publicly
Oh
mention it,
no, I know what you're talking about. No, you can
I
say
think
that.
I know what
You
you're
can
talking
are
say
you
that.
sure?
about.
Yeah, you can say that.
So type it in chat just in
Yeah, you
case.
can
Okay,
say
all right,
that.
hang on. 'Cause can't you get in trouble for possessing that kind of stuff?
I
I don't know.
don't know. I don't know if it's
What
authentic.
chat? Where's the chat? Hold on.
Type the little speech bubble on the Total Baloney channel.
I don't think it's an authentic one. But I don't think you can get in trouble for
Oh yeah,
mentioning
here we go.
that they have it.
Oh yeah. Um,
It is interesting that they have it though.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page about what we're talking about here.
I'm pretty sure I know what Blake is referring to because they do have something there that's very yeah that. There is a why don't we call it there's a military section
yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a
Let's leave it at
helmet.
that.
There's a
Extrapolate from there.
there's a helmet that belonged to a certain group of people. Um, you can, yeah, which we had a great discussion about whether or not they were legally allowed to have that. But, you know, I'm
Yeah.
sure they've
Enough said.
done their due diligence. The amount of time
Yeah.
Green Valley Farm spends jumping through legal loopholes these days anyway.
That that piece of paper that you signed at the beginning of the day does a lot
really
of pulling.
does. Carries a lot of weight. No, we do have to make it happen. Water slide season. We'll rent out a cabin, get a bunch of creators, make some Green Valley Farm content.
Oh, I'm so keen for
Have a
that.
campfire, a guitar, a case of beer.
Perfect.
Cheering.
Perfect. And in summer, Tinga
I'm
will
in.
be actually really warm and nice. It won't be miserable like when you were here, Blake.
Oh, God, that was the thing. I had a bloody panic attack at your house that night. Oh, just from how cold it was. Like, just
It was pretty cold.
I really am a Queenslander. Like, I cannot deal with that kind of cold.
Armadale in July is a pretty cold place.
Oh, that's horrific.
Yep.
It-
I think when I went, it was in
it's
June. Yeah.
a miserable time of year up here.
Yes, apologies I couldn't make it at the time.
Oh yes, you only had a broken ankle.
Yeah.
oh dear.
Stop breaking things.
I'm trying, dude.
Next time,
I'm taking Caltrate like an old man.
make sure that you use an extra layer of bubble wrap on your next trip, okay?
Sure thing.
Well, I think it's about time we wrap this episode up. We'll start with Blake. If people are hearing your beautiful voice for the first time and would like to hear more of it and more of your wonderful theme park content, where can they currently find you?
Well, that's actually a really good question because I'm not actually actively making any content right now, but I will say that I am in the works of currently producing something, which I will announce once
Ooh.
it's ready. But if you would like, you can go back and listen to old episodes of ParkChat. You can pretty much find that anywhere where you can get your podcasts, like Spotify, Apple Music. You can also follow the ParkChat Facebook page. And if you really want to go way back, I believe there is the ParkChat YouTube channel as well.
What about you, Kieran? Where can they find you?
You can find me at Ejector Bear Time on YouTube. You can also follow my non-coaster related side quest adventures at Ejector Bear Time Sidetracked on YouTube. And you can follow me on Blue Sky at ejectorbeartime.bsky.social. How about yourself, Jake?
You can find me at Maloney's Coasters on YouTube. If you're a creator and you're looking for some copyright-free ride footage, you can also find me at Maloney's Coasters Off-Ride Footage. And that's going to be the end of today's episode.
Because you've been listening to an absolute bunch.
Complete bunch.
Of total baloney.
What a bunch.
What a bunch!